So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 18 of our Aston Martin Save. Now, development on this year's car has now ceased to happen. All focus will be on next year's car. Now, when we get the new ATR period at the end of this month, all focus is on next year's car to try and improve that. The next few races towards the end of the season might not be the most exciting. We may struggle to get points. If we manage to get 8th in the Constructors, it is a massive, massive achievement. But that being said, we'll keep continuing to try and gain some points with strategy or whatever bits of luck that we may get. But that's the sort of course of action. At the end of the year, we are going to change both drivers as well. New car, new start, new era at Aston Martin at the end of this season. So stick around for the next few episodes. It might be a bit of a slog, but we will get there, and I'll try and make it as entertaining as we possibly can. This week we head to Suzuka and the international circuit there. 53 laps around the Japanese Grand Prix. We have a look at the circuit info. The sections by speed we can see there. Car attributes, again, not really suited towards acceleration and high-speed cornering. I'm not massively confident, depending. I think we're best if there's a bit of jeopardy involved. Unfortunately, as we've seen through this season, we are capable of causing that jeopardy in Grand Prix. The expected strategy, though, is a two-stop, a soft, medium, soft. Soft, medium is also an option, or a one-stop soft to medium if we feel that we could run long. But we will see what we do, and we get into the practice as per usual, get them set up with the most confidence we possibly can, and I'll see you in qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Konnichiwa from the Suzuka circuit in Japan. This unique track is a favourite home for motorsports, and it welcomes us back this weekend. Get ready for exhilaration and speed with the Japanese Grand Prix. Drivers will battle it out this weekend on the snaking turns of Suzuka, the only figure-of-8 track in Formula One. High-speed downforce will be the name of the game here, if teams want to secure a place on that podium. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the teams. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. What will happen this weekend? Only time will tell.
So here we go then, the flying laps in qualifying Q1. Decent one for Lance Stroll on his first run, not too bad at all. He's currently sat in P15. Can he match that on this final run? Can he improve? It'll be keen to see if he can do that. We have looked a little bit quicker than Yuki Tsunoda all weekend, so that's one positive to take to it. Sebastian Vettel on the other hand, as he's whipping around this circuit, I wish he were going as fast as he looks at double speed. And we have had a crash on track, and that is going to be the checkered flag, and I'm going to guess that that's going to mean that Lance Stroll is not going to be able to improve. They do look like it's Alexander Albon in the Williams who's crashed. Let's have a little look at this.
Here's the moment involving Albon.
It's nice to see it's not an Aston Martin. What's happened? He's just locked up that front tyre and he's gone careering into the tyre wall there. Williams will not be impressed with that at all. We'll keep fast forwarding on. Sebastian Vettel's green through Sector 1 and Sector 2. Lance Stroll has improved in Sector 2. I don't know why he decides it's going to do that. Sebastian Vettel crosses the line, doesn't improve, and neither does Lance Stroll. 17th and 18th. How many had you bet? How many of you had a bet on that? It seems to be our natural speed, doesn't it? We're quicker than the Williams. We're a little bit slower than anyone else. Let's have a look at the strategy. There is a bit of rain forecast as well, so you never know. So here are the two strategy options. We're going to split the strategy. If we have a quick look, we can see that rain's coming around lap 30. We've just upgraded our weather centre as well, so hopefully this is a little bit more reliable than it was before. If Sebastian Vettel, who is good on his tyres, can make it to that point in the race and switch straight to inters, we might play a blinder. Lance Stroll is on the typical two-stop strategy, soft, softs, medium. Again, he might as well be on the faster compounded tyre. Lance is not as good on his tyres, so that makes sense. We'll see how Lance gets on, but let's get to 5 red lights and see if we can somehow pick up some points. Interesting note, Lance Stroll starting P13, Sebastian Vettel P15.
Looking at Lance Stroll. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. And for the second driver, it's Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. The race start is mere seconds away. The drivers are warmed up They're ready to go here at the Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, indeed, and we're going to this time ride straight on board with Lance Stroll, who is on the softer compounded tyre. Sebastian Vettel, all he's got to do is hang on to the pack and make those tyres last. But Lance Stroll can attack and be a bit more aggressive on these tyres. 99% fresh tyres to start the Grand Prix, and Lance Stroll already up to P12. Sebastian Vettel battling with Fernando Alonso on those medium compounded tyre. It's been a nice start for both our guys here. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc leads from Carlos Sainz, then Sergio Perez, then come the two Mercedes in George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas and Danny Ricciardo exchanging places. Max Verstappen running down in P8 at this moment, then Guan Yu Zhou and Esteban Ocon make up the top 10. But Lance Stroll, decent start, decent getaway on that soft compounded tyre. Sebastian Vettel, like I said, all he's got to do is just hang in there, keep those tyres fresh and get to the wet weather period. If we have a look at the strategy view, that's when it's going to rain. 65% chance of rain on lap 30. Sebastian Vettel just got to stick with the pack. Let's see how we progress. And on end of lap 1, this happens. Sebastian Vettel spins it, of course, crashes into Williams. That breaks up the back of the pack. Sebastian Vettel's now got no front wing. His tyres are knackered, and that is basically the end of it. I think we may as well. We'll keep him out there in case we get a safety car. But Sebastian Vettel doing Sebastian Vettel things.
Now we see
Valtteri Bottas running wide, promotes Lance Stroll to P11. As you can see, Lance Stroll just passing there. He has got Fernando Alonso chasing him down. But at the moment, Lance Stroll currently running P11 and Bottas spinning on turn 15. Valtteri Bottas not having a good time at this moment. He just cannot keep that Alfa Romeo on the track, and that may have helped us as well in terms of the cars behind it. It might also bring Sebastian Vettel back into it a little bit, but at this moment in time, Lance Stroll with that DRS, like I say, he has got Fernando Alonso behind him, but doing a pretty decent job at this moment in time, Lance Stroll. Lovely to see P11 and keeping up with the Alpines and the Haasers. Who knows what this could bring today? Pit window has just been entered for Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso pulled the trigger early, maybe trying to get the undercover. At this moment in time, we have got the DRS. We're probably going to get a couple more laps, and Lance Stroll hanging onto the back of these guys. Lovely. We might just have a chance of getting at least a point with Lance Stroll today if he keeps performing as he is doing. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, we're going to have to check in on him. I'm not really interested in what he's doing. He's just battling Alexander Albon. He's going to need a safety car, and he's also going to need his P45 as well. But we'll come to that in a few more races' time. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc is still leading from Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen, 4 seconds back. He's fought his way through the pack fantastically well, it must be said. Then comes George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, the two Mercedes, chasing down Max Verstappen, and then Sergio Perez, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher P8, Ocon P9, Guan Yu Zhou now P10, and then there comes our man Lance Stroll working hard to try and hang on to the back of these quicker cars. Lap 13. Right, interestingly, a couple of cars in front of us have pit, but we've stayed out. But fortunately, so has Guan Yu Zhou. The reason for that is being fortunate. He's obviously a quicker car in that Alfa Romeo, we know that. But Lance Stroll at the moment is hanging onto the back of him and keeping that DRS. I'm hoping the fact that we're going to get one lap more with DRS, depending on where Ocon and Mick Schumacher in particular come out at this moment in time. Mick Schumacher looks like he's lost DRS, as has Esteban Ocon. I'm hoping that us sticking with Guan Yu Zhou is going to allow us to get the jump on them and get the overcut on them. They've obviously got the fresher tyre, that's going to play a massive part in it as well. But at this moment, Lance Stroll P6 yet to pit. He's going to come out somewhere around here between P12 and P13. Meanwhile, a check-in on the man at the back. He's just racing at Alexander Albon. Both have crashes, and yeah, it's not been a great. The thing with Sebastian Vettel is when he's scored points for us and when he's drove well, he's done particularly well. When he hasn't, he's normally been in some sort of jeopardy. He's crashed, he's caused himself problems, and it must be said it's not been fantastic for him at all at times. But we will watch as Lance Stroll is coming up to the final couple of corners. He's stuck with Guan Yu Zhou all the way, and we will watch this pit stop with great intrigue. Are the guys in front going to come in? They're not going to come in. So Guan Yu Zhou stops out with Danny Ricciardo in front of him, and Lance Stroll is in. This is the moment. We need a good pit stop from our guys. We will keep an eye on Esteban Ocon as well, coming round the final few corners, as is Mick Schumacher. Lance Stroll, decent pit stop needed. 2.5, not the worst. Where is Esteban Ocon? Esteban Ocon's coming around the final corner. Are we going to manage to jump these guys? Lance Stroll coming out of the pits. There's Esteban Ocon on the right hand side. We've not jumped Esteban Ocon, but we have jumped Mick Schumacher, and hopefully we're going to sit in just behind Esteban Ocon and do a bit of work from there. So P13 for Lance Stroll after the first round of pit stops. And we come back on lap 18, a few more cars have pit. Guan Yu Zhou has pit, Danny Ricciardo has pit, but Lance Stroll now got overtaken by Mick Schumacher, admittedly, but he's right back in the thick of it. Mick Schumacher in that Haas, dragging Lance Stroll along, and Danny Ricciardo in P10 is the target. At the front, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc still now both have pit and are leading 1 and 2. Max Verstappen also has pit and running P3. Pierre Gasly, a man we've got to seriously be looking at for next season, currently running in P4. George Russell P5, Hamilton P6. Gasly's now coming in for his pit stop. But Pierre Gasly, definitely one we're looking at for next season. Lap 19. Lap 20, we're going to show you it because Sebastian Vettel's not going to be getting a lot of airtime on this episode, but he has just overtaken the Williams. And even after a crash, he's back in front of both Williams. Sebastian Vettel, fair enough, lap 20, up to P19, P18 now? Yes, we're enjoying that. We're really not bothered. Sebastian Vettel side at garage can get in the bin. P18 now for Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll, though, now running in P10. And behind Danny Ricciardo, he has just overtaken Mick Schumacher. I'm a little bit disappointed we're not going to get a highlight, but another car has spun. We're getting that information coming through. Lance Stroll, are we going to gain from this? There is a yellow flag. And it is Sergio Perez who has spun in the Red Bull. Driving on his own, clean air, just makes an error. Maybe get a bit too eager to get on the throttle. Disappointing for Sergio Perez. Lap 21, and that spin from Sergio Perez has promoted us into P9, and we're just going to hang on to the back of Danny Ricciardo, hopefully keep the Haas and the Alpine behind us and Fernando Alonso. We are expecting rain in around 10 laps time, so could Lance Stroll score another point for this Aston Martin team? Lap 22. Lap 23, time to start getting excited. George Russell has just absolutely binned it. We saw it with Alexander Albon earlier. Maybe being put under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. The Mercedes garage will not be happy with that, but we're ecstatic with it. Lance Stroll now running in P8. Kevin Magnussen has pit as well, so we're looking pretty decent here as long as we can hold on to the back of Danny Ricciardo. Meanwhile, at the back, Sebastian Vettel and Latifi, I could not be less interested. I fell out with Sebastian Vettel again today, and I think with good reason. Lance Stroll is up to P6 on lap 25, and we have just had the notification that rain is on its way. Currently on 72% tyres. Lance Stroll's looking in a decent position as long as we get the call right on when to bring him in for intermediates. Meanwhile, at the front, Max Verstappen's overtaken two Red Bulls. Max Verstappen's overtaken two Ferraris. In fact, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc now running second and third. Hamilton P4. His mate, obviously, George Russell now running at the back with Sebastian Vettel and the other guys who's had a couple of whoopsies during this race. But Lance Stroll only 1.2 seconds now behind Esteban Ocon. Could he possibly get DRS off Esteban Ocon in the next couple of laps? There is a possibility of that. Lap 26. We're waiting for the rain, but Guan Yu Zhou has just spun, and this again may benefit us because that's going to hold the other cars up. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll is in hot pursuit of Esteban Ocon. He's 1.2 seconds behind. We are leaning on the tyres a little bit more, and as you can see, we've got much fresher tyres than the two guys in front of us. That's why we're starting to put them to good use. But Danny Ricciardo on those mediums looking pretty quick now. As the medium compounded tyre, the fresher medium looks the better race tyre at this moment in time. But Lance Stroll giving it everything he's got in this afternoon. And just as we're talking about it, shall we sack him now? Sebastian Vettel, he's okay, he's not injured, but he's spun. And what more can I say about this man? Let's have a look. Yeah, he's under pressure, obviously. What a numpty, and I can't say what I'd like to say. Disappointing from Sebastian Vettel. All we're looking at now is Lance Stroll, lap 27. Lance Stroll has been in for his pit. We just missed Lance Stroll's pit stop, but he's in for the intermediate tyres. We just went past the pit lane when we really needed to get him in. When it just started raining, we've just gone past the pit lane. Could we possibly have done a little bit better? We'll have to have a look at it after the race and the debrief. But Lance Stroll now on these intermediates now going towards the end. Ocon in front of him. Leclerc's still got to pit, but I don't think we're going to catch Leclerc. Lance Stroll got 2 seconds. We just couldn't quite get it. Danny Ricciardo's gained a hell of a lot of time pitting that little bit earlier. Disappointing for us. Like I say, it was something that we just didn't quite get right there for Lance Stroll. That's the disappointing thing, but we'll see how this works out. Charles Leclerc is obviously not going to come out too far behind. Are we going to get back to drive at some point? There is an option a little bit later on. Maybe the AI might come in, but we'll keep running lap 30. Lap 38, Lando Norris has spun. As you can see, Lance Stroll at the front of that picture there, trying to hold off a Red Bull and a McLaren. On the intermediate compounder tyres, we have not had the pace. Even if we'd had pit, we would not have had the pace to keep up with these guys in front of us. And the McLaren of Danny Ricciardo, I mean, Esteban Ocon, we were keeping up with Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon is now, what, 10 seconds in front of us? So Lance Stroll has got a job on his hands holding on to this, but Lance Stroll doing everything he possibly can at this moment in time to finish as high as possible. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel at the bike, I'm not even interested. I'm not going to lie. Lap 42. Right, lap 44. We've just had the notification that the track is now dry, which it is. Now, will any of the AI pit? Because we know in a little while it's going to go back to intermediates, but will any of the AI pit? We're going to stay out on intermediates and see what we can do. We've got Guan Yu Zhou and George Russell attacking us now. Lance Stroll has just not got the pace on these intermediate tyres, and he cut George Russell up a little bit there, I'm not going to lie. P13, P14 is looking likely. We need a bit of luck if the AI were to pit, but I don't think they will. And by the way, I think on lap 45 as well, we've got to appreciate Max Verstappen is 20 seconds clear of Carlos Sainz. What a drive from Max Verstappen today. He's been absolutely unbelievable. Carlos Sainz in second. Lewis Hamilton on a podium at this moment in time. Obviously, being British, knowing how to drive in the rain, because at the moment that's all we see in this country. So fair play to Lewis Hamilton. P3 at this moment in time. Lance Stroll now under pressure, and a lot of pressure from that Mercedes of George Russell. Lap 51, Sebastian Vettel fighting with Alexander Albon for P19. I know this is the battle that you all want to see. And Alexander Albon has got Sebastian Vettel syndrome and has just smashed straight into the barriers. Mind you, looking at this, Lance Stroll has now, the track is drying up, but Lance Stroll is somehow holding off this Mercedes of George Russell. He's going to have to get to the end of this lap, then he's got one more lap to defend. And if he beats a Mercedes and a McLaren, I think we'll call that a good day. And my God, look at the reflections on the track there. Great work so far by Lance Stroll, but he might get overtook here. We're going to keep an eye on this as he comes up to the penultimate few corners on lap 52. He's got the defend on ERS. He's running out of ERS. We'll have to set it to neutral and hope that he can somehow hold off these two cars on the final lap. Final lap, and it is all eyes on Lance Stroll, who's defending against the Mercedes and the McLaren. He's got fuel push, he's got tyres on push. Anything we can do to somehow hold these two cars behind. We accept that they're quicker cars, we know that. We're trying to save that little bit of ERS down this long straight that we've got to deal with. The Mercedes and the McLaren quicker cars, but my word, if we somehow manage to all pull this off, Lance Stroll deserves all the credit in the world. He's done a cracking job today. We've got to look at ourselves. Did we quite get the pit stop right when we could have done? But apart from that, Lance Stroll, as he comes round now onto this long straight, we'll look from the back of him. In fact, we'll look from the front view of George Russell. Can he get the Aston Martin on this last lap? This last few corners, the battery is now empty for Lance Stroll. Can he negotiate these last couple of corners into 130R? He brakes. We are good at low speed cornering. Lance Stroll, as he comes round the final bend, will take P13. Fantastic work for Lance Stroll. And there we go. Lance Stroll, P13. Great work. Beats the Mercedes, beats the McLaren and beats a Haas. Doesn't get any points, but we'll take that all day long. We'll have a look at Max Verstappen coming across the line. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty comfortable for him. Fantastic work from Max Verstappen. And what a drive he's had. Great work from Max Verstappen. We'll now fast forward to the end and get to the classification. So then Max Verstappen, as we saw, coming in P1 there. 8 places gained during the race. Fantastic drive for him. Carlos Sainz P2. Lewis Hamilton getting on the podium as well. But let's have a look at some of the other drivers in contention, because obviously we're scouting for next season. Pierre Gasly has been mightily impressive in that AlphaTauri, and you'd have to say has outperformed it so far this season, as has Kevin Magnussen there. 13 places gained in the Haas this afternoon. Fernando Alonso gaining 6 places to come P8, Ocon 9th, and Valtteri Bottas 10. And Valtteri Bottas was on ice skates for a bit of the race, it must be said. Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc is currently still leading, but now Max Verstappen is up into P2, but he has got a 61-point gap to make up. Carlos Sainz then comes in third before Sergio Perez in fourth. Constructors-wise, Ferrari look like they've got it in the bag this season. Red Bull in second, Mercedes in third. We lose points again to Haas in 8th position, but Williams P10. Williams aren't going to threaten us. So we're not going to finish last. And like I say, all focus now shifts to next season, but we'll continue trying to impress. And what we're going to do with Sebastian Vettel, I mean, the P45 is basically wrote out now. I hope you've enjoyed that. Come back for the next one on Thursday, and we'll do our best to get some more points. See you later.